Just so you know, there will be spoilers, some spoilers, not too many, of the film that we're going to be talking about today. But don't worry, if you are still planning on watching it, I think there's not enough spoilers for it to be ruined for you at all. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today it'll be a relatively short one. Today I'm just going to talk about my opinions and review on the new Super Mario film, Super Mario Galaxy or something like that. So a little bit of context. I watched the first film when it came out. I think it was about 3 years ago or something, and I loved it. It was great. It was so good that I watched it, I think, like three more times. It was a great film. There were so many niche references back to the old games I used to play when I was younger on the DS and on the Wii. I mean, I used to play the Super Mario Bros. 2000 and something edition on the Wii with my siblings back in the day. And in the first film, I was always able to sort of catch the references, like of the stars and like the Coopers and all that stuff. And I thought the first film was great. The plot was simple, right? The plot was really simple. You're just stopping Bowser. Okay, that's pretty basic, but we like it. Okay, and that's what I kind of like about the film, how sort of simple it is. And you have to also bear in mind the film is made for kids. um, Nintendo obviously want to make as much money as possible, so they're going to try and make it available for everyone. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. Um, Also, in the first film, it was just incredible. The animation they had in the first film was just insane. Like it was beautiful. Like, I don't think I've seen animation that's this good in my life. And along with the soundtrack, I can't remember who composed the soundtrack, but it was brilliant. Especially the last scene where nearer to the very end of the film where Luigi and Mario have to do the final fight with Bowser. I mean, the scene where Bowser's coming down, oh, sorry, no, Bowser's shooting the fire up and Mario and Luigi are coming down together. Just incredible. It looked beautiful and the soundtrack was amazing. Okay. Especially the scene where the rocket goes into the tube and explodes. It just looked beautiful. Amazing. And then, so I went to the second film. I watched it with my sister, who's a little bit older, but she also played the games with me. And the film wasn't bad at all, don't get me wrong. The animation was still really good. Like it's amazing how good it actually looks. They must have poured a lot of money into it. And the soundtrack is really, really good. But the issue for me with the film is that I feel like they were trying to throw in so many sort of references from the games that they kind of didn't focus on the plot that much. And therefore, the plot was kind of jumping all about. At the start, we had Bowser, like, Bowser was a good guy. Bowser didn't even want to leave the cage. He liked it. But then all of a sudden, his Bowser Jr. comes and he's like, oh, whatever. I'll shrug it off. Let's just take over the world now. Um, I thought that was an issue because it kind of just ruined about the first 30 minutes of the film. Also, the start of the film where you meet the female character, they're one of the princesses. Honestly, I've not I'm sure she probably is in one of the games, but I've not played them, and so therefore I never seen her, and it was kind of a bit confusing because I was like, "Who's this?" I mean, don't get me wrong, the scene was incredible and it was great. Looked beautiful, but it just kinda lacked some sort of context for some people, I reckon. I feel like if you're a Super Mario fan, if you're really big into the Mario world, and you support everything Nintendo does, I feel like you would understand and maybe catch the references more easier. And maybe just because I haven't played the games in years, maybe even a decade, maybe I just don't know these references. Um, but additionally, I feel like in the first film there was action, but there was also sort of there was other bits where you got to know the characters and stuff. But in this film, it just seems like they just went from scene to scene, action to action, action to action, action, like a fight to another fight to another fight to another fight. Um, and that kind of not it didn't ruin it, but it kind of reduced how much I enjoyed the film because like it was almost just like fighting about 80, maybe 90% of the time. I think the soundtrack is still great on the film. I mean, it was incredible. Honestly, the people who put together this film really do deserve a pat on their back because the animation, the soundtrack, The cover art, everything about this film, maybe apart from the script itself, is good, and that's good. That's good to see. I like to see that happen, considering Mario was a little bit part of my childhood when I was growing up. Oh, actually, a big part of my childhood. Um, and it just kind of I didn't leave the cinema with disappointment. I enjoyed the film. Don't get me wrong, it was good. I just maybe had my expectations a bit too high, and that just resulted in a little bit of a disappointment. But that's not to say you shouldn't go see the film. I think you should go see the film. I mean, the tickets, at least in the UK, are pretty cheap, about £8 for a cinema seat with reclining chairs and everything. To me, if you want to go experience a film properly, you have to watch it in a cinema. I think that's really the only sort of area you can watch a film and actually give your honest sort of critical review on it. Because if you watch it on your phone or on your laptop or on your home TV, it just doesn't feel the same. You don't get the bass from the speakers. You're not surrounded by the music and all the sort of like soundtracks and everything going off at the same time. Um, and that I think does drastically reduce the quality of the film if you do not watch it in the cinema. But I also think that is for many films. In fact, maybe majority of films I think just are better in the cinema. So if you do want to watch it, I do suggest going to the cinema and enjoying it. It's only an hour and 40 minutes, which for nowadays standards is pretty damn short. I mean, I remember James Bond, No Time to Die, being just under 3 hours or something, 2 hours and 45 minutes, which was incredibly long. Honestly, at the end, I was like actually falling asleep in the cinema of that film. And just one more thing to mention on the soundtrack. Again, I can't remember who made the soundtrack, but it has so many sort of references from the video game soundtracks that it's so nostalgic, and it's actually quite nice to hear the sort of mix of his new sort of action type of cartoony sound mixed in with the original soundtracks from the games and the stuff like that. I just think the producer for the soundtrack really did put an effort, and I was actually excited to hear what it would sound like because the first film, I remember going back and actually saving a few of the songs onto my playlist. So yeah, if you do plan on watching Super Mario Bros., I do suggest the new one. I do suggest you go and watch it in a cinema. It's not too expensive, at least in the UK, and honestly, it's worth the experience. Though I do believe it wasn't as good as the first one, I still do think it's worth watching. And regardless if you think it's bad, and if everyone thinks it's bad, it's Nintendo, and so it'll still gross $1 billion anyways. All right, that's all. See you later.